Um, Hello, my name is Asian Pineda, and today I'm going to present an oral analysis of the book A Streetcar Named Desire. First, I'm going to read like the quote I will base my oral analysis, and is how important is the setting of a particular time and or place to the development of the characters. Choose two characters and two extracts of A Streetcar Named Desire to support your answer. In this analysis, I will analyze two characters. The first one is Blanche Dubois, and the second one is Stanley Kowalski, and how the setting affect like their behavior or like their behavior. So first, I'm going to start with Blanche. When the play begins, Blanche is already a fallen woman in society's eyes. This means that, for example, her family, fortune, and estate are gone. She is in ruin. She lost her young husband to suicide years earlier, and she is a social pariah due to her indiscreet sexual behavior, we could say. She also had a drink problem, which she tries to cover poorly behind her veneer of social snobbery and sexual property. Blanche is an insecure and dislocated individual. She is an aging Southern belle who lives in a state of perpetual panic about her fading beauty. In the when she goes or when she enters to the Kowalski household, Blanche pretends to be a woman who has never known indignity. So, for example, we can say that she tries to appear like she tries to change her appearance, like uh, try to be, or the people want to see her. She wanted that the people see her as a rich person, like a classy person, we could say. By Blanche have an idea that by marrying, she hopes to escape from poverty and the bad reputation that haunts her. Um, but because the chivalric southern gentleman savior and caretaker she hopes will rescue her um, is extinct. Blanche is left with no realistic possibility of future happiness, so she gives up. She gave up. As Blanche sees it, it is her only chance for contentment, even though she is far from her ideal. Uh, Stalin's relentless persecution of Blanche foils her pursuit of Mitch, as well as her attempts to shield herself from the harsh truth of her situation. The play chronicles the subsequent crumbling of Blanche's self-image and sanity. Stanley himself takes the final steps at Blanche, destroying the remainder of her sexual and mental esteem by raping her at the last scene of the book, and then committing her to an insane asylum because people didn't follow um, what Blanche was saying about Stanley's supposedly rape her, but no one believed in her because she was a liar, always have been a liar. Blanche blinding allows herself to be led away kind by a kind doctor, ignoring her sister's cries, and the final image is the sad culmination of Blanche's vanity and total dependence upon men for happiness. Mm, the impact that we can say uh, she have, the impact that we can say the setting have on Blanche is that when we have to place on New Orleans, okay, New Orleans is like a poor city in the United States, in the south of the United States, and Blanche thinks that this city is not fits her because she believes she's like rich and I don't know with a higher class than people who live in New Orleans. But when the book continues and you continue reading, you say that oh you can analyze that New Orleans that Blanche starts or pass to live in New Orleans because it's like the consequences of all the actions she have of all the actions she had in the past and the bad things she did in the past. I think like the New Orleans as like is like a consequence of Blanche actions and that affected because she tend to lie when she was going to New Orleans, explaining because other she give like other reasons rather than saying the real one. That was that she was poor and she had nowhere to live. The second one is Stanley. I'm going to analyze Stanley. At the beginning, the audience think that Stanley is a hero because we see that he's loyal to his friends and passionate to his wife that was Blanche's sister, Estela. Stanley possesses an animalistic physical vigor that is evident in his love of work, of fighting, and on sex. His family is from Poland, and several times uh, wait, and several times mm, uh, and several times he expresses his outrage at being Polak and other derogatory names. When Blanche calls him Polak, he makes her look old, fashioned, and ignorant by asserting that he was born in America. Is an American and can only be called Polish because, as here we can see that he has like those I don't know like those stereotypes that if being called Polak, it's like calling you like a dirty man. Stanley represents the new heterogeneous America to which Blanche doesn't belong to because she's a relic from a defunct social hierarchy. He sees himself as a social leveler, as he tells Estella in Side 8. Mm, Stanley intense hatred of Blanche is motivated in part by the aristocratic past Blanche represents, and he also sees her as a untrustworthy and does not appreciate the way she attempts to fool him and his friends into thinking she's better than they are. As we already said, Blanche believes she was better than all the people living in New Orleans. Stanley's animosity toward Blanche manifests itself in all of his actions toward her, his investigations of her past, his birthday gift to her, his sabotage of her relation with Mitch. In the end, Stanley's down-to-earth character proves harmfully crude and brutish. His chief amusements are gambling, bowling, sex, and drinking. Here we can see that there's a contrast between Stanley's first behavior in the first scenes and Stanley's behavior in the last scenes of the book. Is fully evident after he rapes his sisters-in-law. The Stella sisters, Blanche. Stanley shows no remorse for his brutal actions. The play ends with an image of Stanley as the ideal of family man, as protective, violent, independent, machist, chauvinist, um, and for comforting his wife as she holds their newborn child. The like we can say that there's a problem of this representation because what we have learned about him in the play ironically calls into question society decisions to ostrace Blanche. So, how important is the setting or place to the development of Stanley? I think at the first, I don't, and we can say that it's not directly, but for example, he have lived in New Orleans uh, all his life as he's been American, but at the beginning, as we already said, he was supposedly a hero or a stereotype of a hero, and at the end, when he I don't know when he have a problem of convivence with Blanche, he converts in an aggressive man, like an aggressive and chauvinist man. I think that rather than affecting the setting, it um, what affecting him was the relationship that he had with Blanche. But we can say that New Orleans affected him as the way, for example, he acted in the last scene, because in a poor society we can say that they must be violent people. We could like state that they are with the poor people. The man is the only who can works, and the woman stay at home, as we can see in Streetcar Named Desire. Like in conclusion, um, we can say that New Orleans affected too much both characters, especially Blanche, and with the convivence or that Blanche had with Stanley, it also affected like his behavior at the beginning and at the end of the play. And we can say that New Orleans was like a perfect it was like a perfect selection of a place in order to construct the whole play.